Chris Lovell here with another edition of Pirate Talk. My man Chip Darden, my guest as always. Colton Coombs taking care of us behind the camera as usual. And also wanted to say thank you to the folks at Gene Messer Ford Lincoln as well. These are sometimes after a game like, last week, it's not the best thing, but we're going to discuss it. And 66-16, trip to Shotwell. You knew this was going to be tough. This was an opponent that had some scary aspects to it. And then you add all the ball bouncing a goofy way a few times at the beginning that just kind of causes it to just take me through it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the big thing is it's an embarrassment to our program, a performance like that, and to everybody that's been involved in it, present, past. It's just not what we're about. And to me, again, looking at scores and totally focused on the score in everything that I'm talking about, but just kind of how we did some things, and there are some things that we're just not going to be about. It all falls on me, 100% of it, and so I take that accountability, and it's up to me to fix it. And but at the end of the day, I still am very proud to be a part of this group, and there's still no other team I'd want to be a part of, and I believe in them, and I think our coaching staff 100% believes in them, and then I really think they believe in each other as well. I think Friday night at times we didn't show that, and that collectively, I mean, we were outplayed in all three phases. We were outcoached in all three phases. There's just no sugarcoating it. And the ball didn't bounce our way sometimes, but that's going to happen in every single football game. You're going to have something that doesn't go your way, and we got to find that team against Friendship when things didn't go our way, that we just battled back and kept playing, and against Tascosa when things weren't going exactly well. And to me, those two were great examples where Tascosa offense wasn't great. Defense didn't point fingers or get mad. We just went out there and kept playing football and found a way to win the game. And then it's kind of reversed against Friendship. The defense struggled, and offense, we didn't get mad, just kind of went out there and played football and found a way to win. And so that team's there, and it's my responsibility for us to find it and play that way. But Abilene Cooper needs a ton of credit as well. They played an exceptional game and had a good game plan. We really, when I think about our defense, we wanted to stop the run. They hadn't thrown it just real efficiently through their first few games.
And their quarterback sets a school record.
Yeah, and he was really good. And there were some that were routes on air. I mean, we didn't cover well. We had some coverage busts that just can't happen in a big game like that. But ultimately, it was everybody. Like I said, all three phases. But it just, the disappointing part, I think, is the response to some of those, which talked about some bad bounces and things that we did to ourselves, some self-inflicted things that might happen in a football game every now and then. But I think we've got the group that will respond from here on out. I think hoping that game was just an anomaly as far as that goes. And we're going to I think everybody's got my word, we're going to play harder. That was the big disappointing thing, is we didn't play just extremely hard. We're going to play hard. We're going to put a product out there from here on out that people can be proud of. And, I think more often than not that translates to wins, but whether it does or not, we're still going to play hard, and we're going to do it the right way.
And it's probably as frustrating to you because you do know that team is there. You've seen, I know what they are, but I'm just, it's like trying to consistency is the hardest thing in sports too. It is so hard. You're very process oriented, and is this team still learning are they still in the process of learning how to deal with some of the bad bounces, the adversity that comes with football?
Yeah.
I mean, because you've seen examples where they have handled it, and maybe some where you wish they would have handled it better, but that's also a process.
Yeah, and I think being process oriented, you have to look at our process during the week, and did we put them in situations to do that, or did we make every situation perfect, and did we stress them in practice? And so that's where we're always evaluating that. To me as a coach, good or bad, I think if you just status quo and just say, Well, it just happens sometimes. But let's just there's a balance because you're not going to just overturn everything that you've done, everything that has worked. But at the same time, something's got to change, and so there's been some changes. And I thought this week our coaches did a good job of a little more stress, a little more. If we're not seeing what we want, you're coming out and things like that. That to me, if Monday through Thursday are getting stressed over and over, then Friday that comes a little easier to them. So those are some things that we've changed. But yeah, I mean, there is. I think we all have room to grow and get better all the time. Like I think me and you sat here and talked about week 1 to week 2 is your biggest improvement. Sure, but you're in week 8. You got to get better from week 7 to week 8. Whether you lose by 50 or you win by 50, you got to keep improving. So I think our guys will, and I think they have this week.
It goes back to the last 2 weeks have been a microcosm of that. But it's the old saying is it's never as good as you think it is. Sometimes it's never as bad as it you think it is at times. It always lies in the middle. And
Saturday morning it was as bad as I thought it was watching. But I will say on Monday watching it with the team, there is a little bit better of going. Here, there, play here, there, then maybe it flips. But you just hope it doesn't take a play to flip your momentum. You hope you hope that the ball doesn't have to bounce perfectly your way for us to play in a way that's better. We've got to find it in us.
Because when I can't remember the exact score. It was early in the game, but their kickoff, it lands on the sideline and it just stops almost. Their player recovers it. I think he's out of bounds. It's on their sideline. Whatever. This is part of what I think Chip's saying. You got to fight through it and all that stuff. Is a bad call or missed call, I should say. But how does the ball just stop? And you can easily say to yourself, "You got to be kidding me! Like, what am I supposed to?" I mean, But
well, and so this is a great example. Coach Hooper did a great job with our kick return team all week. The kicker had a great scouting report on him. He kicks the ball really high, and that ball is right along the sideline. We practiced straddling out of bounds and catching it and getting a penalty because that's an out of bounds kick. We practiced that throughout the week, but ultimately we didn't practice it enough, and that's on me. And that it falls on me. Like we can't. The blame has to be on me for if what you see is we got a saying this year on coaching staff. What you see is what you coached. So we got to get more reps at that kind of stuff and. But, it was. I mean, their kicker was good. He showed that on film. He showed where he was going to place the ball, and we weren't in great positions to field a couple of them, and that just really flips the momentum of the game.
Yeah, that's why they call them specialists. And when you have a good one, they can be special. I guess it answers another question because this is a game, too, that sometimes it's like, man, go bury that tape. Go burn the film. We're not doing that. We're not going to live through it, but You sat through and watched it over with your kids.
Yeah, we did on Monday. That was kind of the thought process. We actually shortened our practice Monday to get more film time. That way we could watch most of it, if not all of it. And as a group, we always get it in individual groups. We get most of the film, but we watched the entire film all together as an offensive group and a defensive group. But then at that point, it's kind of like we're done with it. We do a penalty accountability typically on Wednesdays, and we did away with that this week, just saying, hey, last week's over. We're moving forward and we're getting better off of right now, and that's the thought process.
Yeah, and so it creates an interesting little 3-game situation for the Pirates, and the district is just a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
Very competitive, top to bottom. 7-team district, and so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, versus Palo Duro on Friday night. You've got a trip to Wichita Falls next week, and then you'll host Abilene Wiley on Halloween night, I think it is. So we'll get into Palo Duro here in a second. I did want to ask you. This is again speaking of taking blame for stuff. I forgot to ask you about this last week, and this is a good time to do it. After the Wichita Falls Legacy game, the morning after that, you take your kids. And I don't know how this worked, but you've all volunteered at the Southwest Food Bank?
South Plains Food Bank.
Sorry, South Plains Food Bank. And I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. Yep. And take me through how that comes to be. And my guess is your kids may get more out of that 2 or 3 hour stint than they may an entire football season about life in general. Is that fair?
Yeah. It started last year. We have a leadership council that's a coach, kind of a coach-picked group. We we could probably talk about that for a long time, what our leadership council is. But a group of guys that helps make some decisions and helps see some things in the program that we're doing well and that we need to change.
And these are players.
These are players.
Yeah.
And last year they decided, the leadership council that we had decided we needed to do something like that, and that was their idea, was South Plains Food Bank. So we did it last year. The only date they had, it was a little later in the year, was right after a long road trip after Wiley. And so we did it, but then this year able to get it organized a little bit earlier and do it after a home game. And really neat deal. Our guys are able to see an impact that they're having. And, you know, I think the food bank is always appreciative of anybody that volunteers their time, but they tend to give us a pretty big job because there's a lot of us and able to get it done. You know, they told us we might be there till about 1 o'clock, and I think we were all out of there a little after 11.
That's a challenge.
Our guys are working fast and did a good job. And you know, and that's the thing. It's easy to talk about the impact and the bigger picture of all of it, whether it be serving others, whether it be the lessons that you learn through the game of football. All that's easy to say after you win. You know, it's all nice, but it's the same when you lose 66-16. It's got to be bigger than the score, and there's got to be a fight to not have that score, but at the same time, our guys, I think, are learning lessons, hopefully improving, hopefully doing things like serving the community that they can see a bigger impact than just a on-field football game.
Because you're coaching football players, but you're also really coaching these young guys to be men. Something you do in the off season. I don't know if we've ever actually talked about it on this show, but because it's always in the off season. I mean, you're teaching them how to tie a tie, change a flat tire, how to grill a steak, men's stuff.
Yep.
Like simple, basic, walking around knowledge that lets them be a better member of society in many ways. And I probably left out several other things. Man makers, I think is what it's called, and that just speaks to. But yeah, this is another one. So you're right. We all want our team to win and all that, but it's there's a lot more going on there. Big picture. Speaking of. You will host Amarillo Palo Duro. This is, just to kind of tie into that, perfect segue here, this is your Men of Influence game. So you will have every player on the team. You learned this somewhere else. You've done this with your program for several years, and it's fascinating because they all have a male figure in their lives that are part of this particular day. Okay, so take me.
Yeah, it's another one of those. I think we've mentioned this on maybe the Breakfast of Champions or whatever, but something that I stole from somebody. I don't know who.
There's not many original ideas out there, but
the idea is just that we bring in the player gets to pick a male role model that's had an important impact in their life. A lot of them it's their dad or a grandpa or uncle, but some it's a friend or a family friend. Somebody that's had a positive impact, and basically they just come and they go through the pregame routine with them. So they get to be with them as they get prepped for a game as soon as school's out up until we kick off. And I think a lot of them have been in a football locker room and maybe played back in the day, but it's been a long time since they have been. And then some of them didn't. Like I've had some tell me, like I never played football, so I don't really know what this is all about. And so they get to go to their meetings, their individual meetings that they have, and just go through that whole process. And it's impactful for our players, I think. But I think our players will appreciate it more 10 years down the road when they can look back and go, man, that was kind of neat. But really impactful for the men that they bring. They just a lot of good reviews about the bonding time that they get to have with their player.
Because it's hard to – these kids are busy.
Yeah.
And dads or grandpas are busy in jobs.
Yep.
And so there's just sometimes, boy, you pass each other like, hey, man, good to see you. And it's just like we'd all love to spend more time with our families and kids, but that's just not how it works sometimes. Great idea. I've watched this play out. It's awesome, and everybody always like, hey, what's your why? There can be some of that in that room
for sure.
as well. Okay, Palo Duro is a fascinating program. They are at the top of the standings right now. They're 5-1. Their only loss was to Tascosa, which is so ironic. You beat Tascosa. They didn't score a point against Tascosa, and that they've really kind of gotten rolling ever since. That was the first game of the year. The Dons.
The Dons.
The Dons are coming to town, coached by Eric Mims. You felt like this was a team that was sneaky good,
Yeah.
and they're proving to be just that this year.
Yeah, I looked at last year. We went up to their place last year, and it was a Thursday night game, and we kicked a field goal with like a minute 30 left in the game to go up by 11 and kind of clinch it. I mean, we scored on the first play of the game, and then it was just a dogfight, and they were good. They hit us with a few big plays, but they made us earn every yard. It was just one of those games, and we came away. We felt really proud of that win last year. They were all sophomores and juniors last year. I mean, they returned like
And now not so much.
80% of their team. So they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think that spoke to the depth of our district because they were a playoff team. I mean, they were better than, I bet, half of the playoff teams in the state of Texas. And just return all those guys. So they're good. And I think the thing that you see about them on film, athleticism jumps out to you, but I think how well they're coached jumped out to us pretty early on film. Just like their D-line, the way, and I believe their D-line is coached by a former NFL defensive lineman, Ziggy Hood. But, man, they use their hands well.
University of Missouri?
I believe that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Use their hands well. Like it just stands out. They are well coached. They do some stuff schematically on offense that I think if you're not coached very well can be confusing for the offense. And it's a well-oiled machine, and it was last year too. So they're good. They're a very talented team. The deal with Tascosa game, I think they only snapped it 40 times on offense against Tascosa, which we know about that. They shorten games a little bit, but they're a well-rounded team. Their special teams, offense and defense are all really good. So it's a challenge. They're the favorites right now. I think if you polled every coach in the district, they'd say they're the favorites to win it right now, sitting at 2-0.
And their 2 wins are over Memorial and Wiley, which are two teams that I think everybody thought would be really good. Yeah, no one player jumps out on the stat sheet like crazy. They're just solid everywhere.
Yeah, they got the quarterback. I think makes them really go. Reese, I believe, is his last name, and he is good. He runs it when he needs to, and it's usually an explosive run and just takes care of the ball. And but then the number 22, the Lewis kid, I believe committed to Bill Belichick in North Carolina. Maybe still Bill Belichick. Is it still Bill? Yeah.
As of now.
But he just does a little bit of everything for him. One of our Coach Darden, offensive line coach Matt Darden, said he reminded him of like Jacob Rodriguez and what they did with him at Ryder, where he can play a little quarterback, he can play receiver, he can play running back, he's going to play safety and some linebacker, and just does a little bit of everything. But when he's on the field, he's making an impact in the game. So they've got kids like that. They've got some talent. I think their offensive line is as good as we've seen. They're physical. It's just a solid team.
7:00, Pirate Stadium. Obviously, this is a big game. Sense of urgency.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm sure Palo Duro was saying the same thing. I mean, this is the team that you just mentioned did not make it into the playoffs, and so they've only got so many games left as well for this year. Okay, just a few fun ones, and I shouldn't do this because this is more of a serious. We're going to get back episode here. Favorite superhero growing up, or even now?
Yeah, probably Batman growing up. That just was the go-to. We've talked about this before, how I wasn't not big on movies. So
yeah, I know.
I really wasn't young
cartoons
either. Yeah, I mean, some of that. And that's why Batman, I always remember the Batman cartoon.
Yeah, so you probably had a Batman lunchbox going to school as a kid.
Maybe I still do.
Do you prefer, if you have the choice, to pull into a parking spot or back in?
I always pull in, but with a truck, it really is easier to back in. But I pull in.
Okay, all right. Have you ever done yoga?
Once. So we do yoga with our team on Thursdays.
Which is becoming quite the thing.
Yeah, so we do it on Thursdays. We've done it. It's about 4 years we've been doing it. And I think one time I did it with them, but that was it for me. I'm out. So, no, I would say no. I have done it once, but
it's good, man. I mean, the older you get, maybe the more you'll appreciate it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, you can expand your spine and be more limber, all kinds of stuff.
Get that out of my mind.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate, and I appreciate this guy for everything that he stands for and everything like that. So, again, Friday night, Pirates Stadium, 7:00 kick. The Dons are coming to town. Pirates looking to bounce back. So we'll talk to everybody next time. For Colton Coons behind the camera, for Chip Darden, this is Chris Lovell for Pirate Talk. We'll talk to you next time.